How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf, what Daf we're studying? Daf Samach Beis. Daf 62 of Masechta Gittin. Friends, I'm back in the nature again. I thought maybe people would like the nature. I don't know if it's good for the sound. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I hope it's okay. But I figured maybe the people would want me to be in the nature, Now, I don't know. Hopefully there's not so many mosquitoes out in the nature today. Friends, this morning, I saw a big spider inside where I'm staying. Alright, what do you want me to tell you? It's part of being in the nature, Alright, so, I gotta, what time is it? Alright, I gotta record before I have to run into some meetings. And then, but we should be alright. Friends, okay, today we're wrapping up the 5th parak of Masechta Gittin. We're going to start the 6th parak. We don't have much to do on Daf Samach Beis Amud Aleph because yesterday we got in a big chunk, which I'm happy that we did. So it should be relatively quick to finish up Daf Samach Beis Amud Aleph in the 5th parak. We're going to start the 6th parak, which the first 2 daf of the 6th parak is challenging. So we're going to start the 6th parak. Get back to the sugya of hoylech kizchidami, holech lav kizchidami. Have to use our brain a little bit, but nothing too crazy. Friends, we're going to start Daf Samach Beis Amud Aleph by the 2 dots about, 20 lines before the bottom of the page or so, something like that. Machzikin yedei akum bashviz. So it sounds like what it means is that if you have a Ovid Kechovim who's working his field during Shemitah, so we can help him out. He's not a Yid. He doesn't have the mitzvah of Shemitah, so we can help him work his field during Shemitah. So, fact the Gemara, Machzikin, can we really help him work his field during Shemitah? V'Omer Avdimi Bar Shishno. Okay, Mishmei Derav. Ein Odrin Ima Akum Bashvius. You cannot, hoe. I think Oder is to hoe. You cannot hoe a field in Eretz Yisrael with an Ovid Kechovim during Shemitah. Vein Koflan Shalom lo Ovid Kechovim, and we oichid don't say Shalom twice to an Ovid Kechovim, right? Meaning, we said in our Mishnah, I believe, that you could say Shalom mipnei darkei Shalom, right? We said V'Shalom b'Shlomim mipnei darkei Shalom. You could say Shalom to Ovid Kechovim, out of being peaceful, because we want to be peaceful. So, but say Shalom once, don't say Shalom twice, right? So Ein Koflan Shalom Ovid Kechovim, we don't say a double Shalom to an Ovid Kechovim. Now, do I have some? I think there might be some nature. Some of the nature might be trying to latch on to my arm. A little bit of nature. But all right, okay, fine. Seder. We went walking yesterday, and then we had to check for ticks. There's ticks over here. I didn't get any ticks. Other people did, but they took them off or whatever. And okay, let's go weiter. So where are we? So where are we? Oh, so what? How could it be that you can actually, assist in Ovid Kechovim in working the field on Shemitah? So lotzricha lemeimra lehu achzoku ba'alma. No, when it says machzekinon yidei akum bashvis, it doesn't mean that we can help them work their field. It means achzoku lemeimra lehu achzoku ba'alma, to say, be strong, brother. That's what it means. Ki adu Rav Yehuda amalu achzoku. So Rav Yehuda would say, be strong. Rav Sheshes amalu asharter. Rav Sheshes would say asharter, which also means be strong. So that's what they would say. They weren't actually helping. They were just, saying, you got this. You can do it. All right. Fine. Where am I? Oh, vein koflan shalom lo Ovid Kechovim, and we don't say shalom twice to Ovid Kechovim. You could say shalom to Ovid Kechovim once. Once is enough, not twice. Now, here's the interesting thing. Apparently, the way that it would work is that, kind of like, if Reuven says to Shimon, Boker Tov, so Shimon says back to Reuven, Boker Or. So apparently, it would, like the Mahalach was, if Reuven would say to Shimon, Shalom, Shimon would respond, Shalom, Shalom. That's how it would go. So, vein koflan shalom lo Ovid Kechovim. So you don't want to, say the shalom shalom thing to Ovid Kochavim. Rav Chisda makdim v'yoevdu shalma. So Rav Chisda, in order to get around this, if he saw an Ovid Kochavim, he would quickly, before he had this chance to be said hello to, Rav Chisda would first say shalom, so he didn't have to be in the responding position where he would have to say shalom shalom, and that would be awkward. So he would just always make sure to say shalom first. Rav Kahana Amar le shalom lamar. Rav Kahana would get around it by saying shalom lamar. So ki'ilu, by saying that, it's like he's saying shalom like to his Rebbe. He's like ki'ilu, he's saying shalom lamar, which I guess David Chacham would interpret to mean, shalom to you, to the master, but really what his intention was shalom to his master, to his Rebbe. And that way he sort of would try to get around it that way, around that limitation. V'shalom b'shlomon. Okay, so the Mishnah had said that we could say shalom to Novi Kochavim. Hashtag zuki machzikinon she'alim b'shlomon miboya. Well, if we're saying that we can even support that, we said in the Mishnah that if you have an Ovid Kochavim who's working the land during Shemitah, and, obviously a Yid is not allowed to work the land during Shemitah, and Ovid Kochavim can, he doesn't have the mitzvah of Shemitah, and, somebody's outside. Somebody's outside. Phone call. Alright. Wow. You can't get around, You think I would go to Virginia, fly halfway around the world, and we'll have some quiet during Babylon Talmud. But even in Virginia, there's people outside making noise. But okay, what do you want me to tell you? Yankee Lazar. Okay, so if we can say like be strong and support a fellow who is working the field during Shemitah, which is something that we're not allowed to do. So certainly we could say hi to the fellow, support, say, giving him, supporting him in working the field during Shemitah, we could do. Certainly we could say hi to the fellow. So again, if we could kind of support him in working the field during Shemitah, certainly we could say hello. So Rav Yeva says that the Chiddush is on Getch Kedei. Even if it's Getch Kedei, you could say hello to the fellow. And we're not concerned that he's going to go and thank his Getchke that you said hi to him. A fellow should not go into an Ovid Kochavim's house on Getchke Day in order to say shalom, because then he'll, I guess, thank his Getchke that you said hi to him. And if you see the fellow, if you see an Ovid Kochavim in the market, so you can say shalom, but in sort of a very careful kind of way. So even on Getchke Day you can say shalom. Rav Huna, Rav Chisda, Abu Yasvei, Rav Huna and Rav Chisda were sitting. Chalev ve'ozil Gniva. And Gniva came by. I'm telling you, Gniva has come up so many times in Masechta Gittin. Meaning, for the first time we saw Gniva in Masechta Gittin was that he was giving Mar Ukva a hard time. Mar Ukva sent a letter to... Who did he send a letter to? Mar Ukva sent a letter to maybe Rabbi Shua ben Levi, I don't know, asking to do something about Gniva because Gniva was driving him crazy. And then we saw, this is the second time we saw that, I don't know if the other time was also Rav Huna Rav Chisda maybe, but Rav Huna Rav Chisda was sitting and then Gniva came by. The Bar Urian who we should stand up from Gniva because he's a Talmid Chacham. To which the other one said, why should we get up for Gniva? He's a machlekaser, right? Don't you remember what he did with Mar Ukva? He was driving him crazy. And ultimately, Gniva came to them. And Gniva says, peace unto you kings, peace unto you kings. Amulei, Rav Huna and Rav Chisda say to Gniva, why are you calling us kings? From where do you understand that a Talmid Chacham should be referred to as a king? So Gniva responded, that it says, be by way of the Torah, the kings rule. So by way of the Torah, who are the kings of the Torah? The Talmidei Chachamim. So we call the Talmidei Chachamim kings. And then they said to Gniva, okay, and how do you know that if we're kings, that if we should be referred to as kings, you say hi to us twice, right? It says Shalom. What did he say? He said, what is it? Shalom Aleichem Malchei, Shalom Aleichem Malchei. He said it twice. So Gniva responded, how do you know that you double the peace to the king. And the pasuk continues, shalom, shalom lecha. So it says shalom twice. Amri, okay, so that's how you know that you say shalom twice to the king. So Amri, and they said to the Geniva, Litomar midi, do you want to eat epis? You're hungry? He said to them, Ochi, Marav, to a fellow cannot eat before first feeding the animals. As the pasuk says, it says, and first you gotta give grass in your field to your animals, and then you can eat. We'll come back to Perek HaNizakim. Perek HaNizakim was talking interesting Perek specifically. I mean, we had all the those Gemaras about the Churban Abayis, which was famous and interesting. Okay, friends, now we're going to get to the 6th Perek of Masechta Gittin. Not super pashut, at least the beginning of it is not super pashut. Then the truth is it gets more pashut, but okay, use your brain a little bit. We've seen the truth is we've seen sort of we've seen sort of like the core of these sugyas in the past. Okay, here we go. Ha'omer is kabel. Okay, we got to slow down now. Okay, the pace of the daf is now going to slow down. Ha'omer is kabel get zel ishti. So if a husband says to a messenger, receive this get to my wife, okay, or holich get zel ishti, or take this get to my wife. So if he wants to rescind, he can. So now the assumption is that basically both of these lashonis of hiskabel getzel ishti, holech getzel ishti, he's basically appointing this messenger to bring, as a messenger to deliver the get to his wife, and until the get is delivered to his wife, he can say, wait, come back. Okay. Ha'isha shamra iskabel li giti. If a wife says to a messenger, receive my get for me, imatzal achzor lo yachzor. So if, once the husband gives the get to this messenger, he can no longer rescind and say, wait, because the wife had sent the messenger to receive the get on her behalf. Once the messenger has received the get on her behalf, she's divorced, and the husband can no longer take that back. Now, lefichach im omer lo habal efshi shetekabel lo. But what's this lefichach? Is a little funny. Rashi says, "Came into amaron ein yochol lachzor, ein lo takona lachzor ela im kain." Okay, so because we say that once he gives it to the wife's shaliach to receive, if she sent the shaliach to receive the get on her behalf, and we say that once he gives it to the messenger, he can no longer take it back because the messenger already received it and she's divorced. So, but if the husband says, nisht, I don't accept that you can accept the get on my wife's behalf, because after all, right, and the get needs to be given with the consent, with the das of the husband, right? He has to want to give the get. Now, a woman can get divorced even against her will. She can get divorced, but the husband has to want it. He has to say rotzon. He has to want to divorce, for the divorce to happen. And therefore, if he says, look, I don't approve that the divorce will happen in this way, that you will receive the get on behalf of my wife and she will be divorced. Rather, elaholech v'sein la. Rather, take the get and bring it to her and deliver it to her, and then we'll be divorced. In Ratzalach zo yachzer. So now, if he wants to be choser, he can, because he's sending this fellow as his messenger now to deliver the get to his wife, and until she receives it, he can rescind. Reb Shimon is totally giti in Ratzalach zo yachzer. Reb Shimon adds that if the wife had said to the messenger, take this get from me, meaning instead of hiskabel ligiti, receive the get from me, but also told ligiti, take the get from me. Also, once the husband gives the get to the messenger of the wife, im rotzalach hazor lo yachazor, if the husband wants to take it back, once he has given the get to the wife's messenger, he can not take it back, because she will have already been divorced. So now, says the Gemara, Om the Rav Acha Rav Avya the Rav Ashi. Oh, Taima delo shavise ihi shaliach lekabolo. Ho shavise ihi shaliach lekabolo. Rotz lachzor lo yachzor shmamino olech kizchi domi. Pam 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 pa param parara param. Friends, what does that mean? It means take out your brains. That's what it means. So it means like this. Okay, so the Mishnah had said that Ha'omer Eskabel gets Eli Ishti, oh Holech gets Eli Ishti, Imotz Lachzor Yachzor. I just read the opening line of the Mishnah. That, and what we're focusing on is the Holech part, right? Remember, we've seen this sugi before of Holech Kizchidami or Holech Lav Kizchidami, right? That if a fellow says Holech, is he saying, accept it, right? Accept it, or is he saying take it, right? So, okay, so in our Mishnah, we had said that if a husband gives a get to a messenger to bring the get to his wife and deliver it so that they'll be divorced, and he says, what did the Mishnah say? Holech gets eli ishti. So he says, Holech. He says, take this get bring this get to my wife. So we say he can take it back until she receives it. So now, how should I explain this? Okay. So who remembers the sugya of Holech Kizchidami? So if you remember, for example, by a get shichrur, right? If a fellow wants to free his eved, so there's the whole, this gets into the concept of Zachin la'adam shelo b'fanav ve'en chavim la'adam ela b'fanav. So we said it was a machlokus, but we said be'etzim that if a fellow wants to be meshacher his eved, so he can give the get shichrur to a messenger and say, accept this on behalf of the eved, and then eved will be free because it's beneficial for the eved to go free. And therefore, Zachin Adam Shelo B'fanav, we could benefit a fellow, even without his knowledge, without his consent, we could benefit a fellow. So he can give the get shichrur to this fellow, and then the eved will be free. The thing is that doesn't work by a divorce document, because that's considered detrimental to the wife. And Ein Chavin L'Adam El B'fanav, you can only do something detrimental with their knowledge, with their consent. So, or at least with their knowledge. So, fine. So now, the question, let's say, with regard to the eved, is if we say, Holech kizchidami, right? If a fellow gives a get shichrur to a fellow, and says, Holech get zeh la'avdi. So when he says Holech, is he saying zchi? Is he saying accept it on his behalf or not? And therefore, so what we're saying in our Mishnah is that if the husband gives this get to this messenger to deliver to his wife, and he says Holech, and he says, Holech, take this get to my wife. So we're saying he can rescind until she receives it, but that's only because Ein Chavim L'Adam Ela B'fanav. He can't say to this messenger, he can't say to this messenger, accept this on my wife's behalf, because he doesn't have that power to do something detrimental to her without her knowing it. However, the implication is that if she would have sent the messenger to receive the get, and he then would have said, Holech get zeh le'ishti, then he would not be able to rescind. Meaning, the reason why he can rescind is because she did not send the messenger to receive it on her behalf. And he can't give it to a messenger to receive it on her behalf from his own sort of doing, because ein chavin adam ella b'fanav. So in that case, when he says holech, she's not divorced until she receives it, and he can rescind until she receives it. But if she were to send a messenger to receive the get, and he gives it to the messenger and says holech, so then he would not be able to rescind. So this implies that holech kizchidami, that if a fellow says holech, it's saying accept it. So, I'm going to read that again. It says Rav Acha the Rav Avya the Rav Ashi Taima to lo shavise ihi shaliach lekabala. The reason why the Mishnah says, when he says holech getze leishti imrotze lachzor yachzor, that he could rescind once he's given it to the messenger, is because the wife didn't designate this person as her messenger to receive it. But hashavise ihi shaliach lekabala, if the wife would have designated this fellow as her messenger to receive it on her behalf, well then, if he says to the messenger holech, well then rotze lachzor lo yachzor, he would not be able to be rescind to rescind from the fact that from the time that he gives the get to this messenger of the wife, they are divorced. He can no longer rescind. Shmamina holech kizchidami. So we see that when a fellow says holech, he's saying accept it, and therefore he would not be able to rescind. Lo nisht. Lo'olam emelach holech lav kizchidami. So really, I'll say that holech lav kizchidami, and if the wife were to send a messenger to receive her get, and he gives it to the messenger, and he says holech, what he's saying do not accept it on her behalf. He's saying, I am making you now a messenger to deliver it to her, and she'll be divorced when she receives it, and and he'll be able to rescind as long as she has not yet received the get. Well, if that's the case, then why doesn't the Mishnah talk about even in a case where she sends him and he says holech? Why does the Mishnah Dafka say a case of holech when she has not sent the get? So the messenger to receive the get. So v'hiskabel get liishti etztuchali, because the chiddush isn't about holech, the chiddush is about hiskabel. That meaning, when the husband sends a messenger to deliver a get, and he says hiskabel, which is not he doesn't have the power to receive the get on her behalf, or to give the get to an eved to receive on her behalf. He can't do that. And even though hiskabel, technically speaking, is not an effective wording, nonetheless, the Sagadad Chamina ho uval la barshavye shaliach lekabalahu afagav de matagita liade lo lehavegita. So as I just said, that I might think that since the husband does not have the power to be able to, give the get to a messenger to receive it on behalf of his wife, unless she sent him to do that, to receive it. So I might think that this lashon of hiskabel get liishti would be ineffective, that if the husband gives a get to a messenger and says hiskabel get ze liishti, it would not work. Kamashman hiskabel v'holech ka'amar. No, the Mishnah says it does work, because what he's saying is that receive it and bring it to my wife. And therefore we say that when the messenger delivers the get to the wife, at that point they are divorced. Until then he could rescind, but once she receives it, they are divorced. So when he says hiskabel get ze liishti, what he's saying is take it and deliver it. Tanan, we learned in our Mishnah, Ha'isha she'amra, a woman who said to a messenger, hiskabel li giti, receive my get for me, imrotze lachazor lo yachazor. So a woman who says to a messenger, receive my get for me, and then the husband gives the get to the messenger, he cannot rescind. My love, lo shna kabbalah, lo shna holacha. And we're saying, and that's regardless if when the husband gave the get to the messenger, he said, take it, lashon kabbalah, take it, or a lashon of holacha, or even if he would have said heilach, holech get ze leishti, meaning she sent a messenger to receive the get, the husband gave the get, and regardless of if the husband, when giving the get to the messenger, said a lashon of kabbalah or holacha, we're saying that they're divorced and he cannot rescind at that point, which means that holech kizchidami. Right, when he says holech to the messenger, he's saying take it, accept it on her behalf. Lo, akabala. No, it only it counts immediately as a get if he says a lashon of kabbalah, but not if he says a lashon of holech, because holech lav kizchidami. I'm trying to figure out if I'm getting bit by a mosquito over here. Look, it's part of being in the nature. Tashma, come here. Lefichoch im omar lo haba'al, that if the husband says to the messenger of the wife, I efshi shetkabel lo, that I don't accept that you will receive the get on her behalf, ela holech v'sein lo, rather holech, go and give it to her. Imotza lachzor yachzor, if he wants to be chozer, he can. So, oh man, I'm pretty sure I'm getting bit by a mosquito, excuse me. Dang, I feel like I'm a little defenseless against this mosquito right now because I'm like, got the microphone, I'm like not in a position to be like chasing after mosquitoes. So hopefully the Eibishter will just take care of me and us at Babylon Talmud. So if he says that I don't accept, right, right, he says that I don't accept that you're going to accept the get on her behalf. Rather go and take it and give it to her. So at that point he can be chozer. So time of the Amr Efshi, the only reason why he's then making the shaliach into his own shaliach, right? He's saying is because he says Efshi, because he says I don't accept that you are going to accept it on her behalf. Hello, Amar Efshi, lo yachzor. But if he didn't say, I don't accept that you're going to accept it on her behalf, well then he would not be able to rescind. Right? The only reason why he can rescind is because he said, I don't accept that you're going to accept the get on her behalf, and therefore I'm making you now my messenger to deliver it. But if he didn't say efshi, well then, the messenger would be receiving it on behalf of the wife. So Shema mina holech kizchidami. So we see that holech, when he says holech, it's kizchidami. It's saying accept on her behalf, dilma behelach. But maybe he's not saying holech, maybe he's saying helach, right? Maybe he's saying, right? Maybe he's saying, where am I? Right? So meaning, so maybe it's because he's saying helach. That is why, if he wouldn't say efshi, they would be divorced immediately. He's saying helach, take it, but not holech, which means to deliver it, to go and send it as a messenger. All right. Fine. So that was a whole shaila about, do we say holech kizchidami or holech lav kizchidami? It's not, we didn't manage to prove that we would say holech kizchidami. Okay. Now it gets a little bit easier until the rest of the daf, right? That was those like 10 lines or so really required us to kind of move slowly, but now things should move a little quicker, I think, and then I actually have to run because I gotta go next door over here. I'm already 5 minutes late. Pshita. Now it's obvious, ish havi shaliach leholacha. So certainly a husband could appoint a male messenger to deliver the get to his wife. Shekein Baal molech get lishto, because after all, the husband himself can deliver the get to his wife, so he can also appoint a male messenger to deliver the get to his wife. V'isha avya shaliach lekabala, and also the wife can appoint a female messenger to receive her get. Shekein isha mekabeles gita miyad baila, because after all, a woman can receive the get from her husband. So she can also appoint a woman to receive the get for her. Ish l'kabala v'ishelo lachamai. What about, can a man receive the get? Can the wife appoint a man to receive the get for her? Can a husband appoint a woman to deliver the get to his wife? So Tashma, come in here. Ha'omer iskabel get ze li'ishti. If a fellow says, be miskabel this get to my wife, or holech get ze li'ishti, or take this get to my wife. So basically he's appointing a messenger to deliver the get to his wife, and he can rescind as long as it hasn't yet been delivered. And a woman who says, receive the get on my behalf, right? She appoints a messenger to receive the get on her behalf. Once the husband then delivers it to the wife's messenger, the husband cannot rescind. I want to say that the same person who could be appointed by the husband could also be appointed by the wife, right? Meaning the same description of a person could work both as the husband's shaliach or as the wife's shaliach. So we'll see that, that the same gender messenger would be able to work for both, being the messenger to deliver the get or being the messenger to receive the get. Lo, Vishnei shluchin, no, you could say that, the husband's shaliach would be a man and the wife's shaliach would be a woman. Tashma, kavanir lefichach im omer lo abal, yef shishtkabel lo, ela holich v'sein lo. Or, what about this? The Mishnah had said that if the wife sends a messenger to receive the get, and then the husband says, no way, I don't accept that you will receive the get on behalf of my wife. Rather, I'm now making you my shaliach to deliver the get. So you can rescind as long as it hasn't been delivered. So certainly, in that case, we're talking about the same messenger, that the wife sends a messenger, right? And the messenger is her messenger. And now the husband is making the same messenger into his messenger. So clearly, whether that messenger was a male, whether a female, that messenger is being used for both the husband and the wife. So now let's say that it is that a man could be a shaliach, right? A woman can make a man a shaliach to receive her get for her. Sheken av mikabel get levito kitana. Because after all, a father can receive a get on behalf of his daughter who is a kitana. So clearly a man can be a messenger to receive a woman's get. So ish lolacha tibaylach. But now the question is, what about, can a woman be appointed as a messenger to deliver a get? Can a husband appoint a woman as a messenger to deliver a get? So what's the halacha? Omer of Mari says of Mari Tashma afanoshim she'ein le'emanos loma meis baila, that even the women who are not believed to testify that a woman's husband died, for example, right, her mother-in-law, her mother-in-law's daughter, her tzara, right, people like that, stepdaughter, ne'emanos lahavi as gita, are believed to deliver a get to her. And there we're talking about women delivering a get. So you see that women can be messengers to deliver a get as well. So men can be messengers to receive a get. Women can be messengers to deliver a get. Says Rav Ashi, we can also infer it from our Mishnah, Dikatani, that it says in the Sefer, Dikatani Sefer, Ha'isha atzma mevia es gita uvachi tzricha lomar b'far nechtam b'far nechtam. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, but not, did we say, this was an hour. No, but we've seen, maybe it's that, I think it's the Sefer of that same Mishnah, that it says that a woman herself could be a messenger. Remember, it's a whole complicated thing, but it's a woman herself could be a messenger to bring her own get, but it needs to say, she needs to say, and we say that it's talking about that she could be a shaliach le'olacha to bring her own get. It was a whole complicated thing of why isn't she divorced right away? Seder. We did that already. So we see that a woman can deliver her own get, i.e. a woman could be a shliach le'olacha. So a fellow could be a shliach le'kabbalah, a fellow could be a shliach le'olacha. Friends, that was daf, what was it, Samach Beis of Masechta Gittin. I hope you enjoyed. Peace out.